Well, tonight's Piers back. The last time I appeared on television with one of these ladies, this happened. Tell you what I'd do, Ash. I'd go and check out some basic facts about your hero, Obama.
He's not my hero. I'm
a
communist,
he comes
you idiot.
across. You didn't plan any protests against him, did you? Well, I'm happy to still call myself an idiot, identify as an idiot. Do you still identify as a commie?
All day, every day.
Welcome back, Ash. It's been a while. And Julia, lovely to see you. Julia Hartley-Brewer, who's a TalkTV presenter. I want to start with women, because Penny Mordaunt today has been coming under a bit of flack for her views about women. Said two things today which I suspect will ruffle probably all the right feathers. Take a look at these.
I think it was Margaret Thatcher that said that every Prime Minister needs a willy. A woman like me doesn't have one.
A quick one and a straightforward one. How do you define a woman?
I'm a woman. I am biologically a woman. And I can tell you, Chris, that if you have been in the Royal Navy and you have competed physically against men, you understand the biological difference between men and women.
Well, apart from the fact that I loved her campaign slogan, PM for PM, which has a great ring to it. All right, Ash Sarkar, you identify as a woman?
Sometimes.
Always?
Always.
You are a woman?
I am.
What is a woman to you?
So, for me, a woman is someone who is an adult, who is human, and is female. And female is both a biological category, where we're talking about biological sex, and a gender category. So depending on what we're talking about, if you're saying best female rapper, no one's checking chromosomes. If you're talking about female reproductive health, you know, people aren't just talking about your social life. It can be a biological or a gender category.
So when, for example, the hot issue of the day, when you have trans women athletes who are competing against women born to female biological bodies, do you think that's fair?
Do I think that's fair? I think you'd have to take a look at the whole picture.
Or Leah Thomas, the swimmer, for example.
So it might be that in 5 to 10 years, when you have much more trans athletes breaking through, and you might see cisgender women at a disadvantage, you have to go, let's rejig the system in a way which can protect women's sport and include trans people. I think right now, because trans people have been so marginalised from
See, here's my problem. You're a smart young lady, right? I follow you on Twitter. You're very smart. You're very intellectually rigorous about stuff. You know, when you look at stuff like Leah Thomas demolishing women in the pool in America, that this isn't fair. And you can support, as I do, and you do, trans rights, fairness and equality, and understand that on issues like sport, it is unfair.
But the thing that I'm saying is that we haven't had a trans Olympic medalist yet. Female sport.
We've had a trans. Hang on. We've had a trans weightlifter in the New Zealand Olympics team, depriving a woman born to a female body of an Olympic place.
Please stop saying woman born to a female body.
Well, OK, fair enough.
Woman. There's only one kind. We're not a variant of women. There's only one kind of woman. I'm not a cis woman. I'm not a woman born to... I'm a woman. That's all I am. I'm a woman.
Right.
And the other kind aren't women.
And I guess my point... Fair enough. And my point about this, I think, would be that in that case, this weightlifter was unsuccessful competing against men, suddenly becomes Olympic standard as a woman, and deprives an actual woman of being able to get an Olympic place.
So she was also unsuccessful competing against women in the Olympics.
Well, she did badly in the Olympics, but she still got to the Olympics. She's an Olympian, and yet as a man, she never got anywhere near it.
I just don't think that there's enough evidence that women, as a sex, are en masse being drummed out of elite sport. And the thing that I would say...
They are, Ash, that's just wrong.
No,
we're seeing it in sprinting, we're seeing it in rugby, we're seeing it in cricket, we're seeing it in swimming, we're seeing it everywhere. As there are more and more trans people coming out as trans, and I've got absolute respect for that, but as more and more people do it. You know, we had Lord Winston on last night, who couldn't have been clearer. There is biological sex and there is gender, and they are completely different things.
And look, I'm not here to talk about, you know, this is biological sex and this is gender. When it comes to the condition of trans people in this country, we know that they're disproportionately excluded from using athletic and healthcare facilities. We also know...
No, we don't.
Yeah, they are. But
no, we don't.
Yeah,
there are no evidence for that statement.
There are reports that trans
reports.
people... Well, yeah, because that's all we've got to go on. That show that trans people use gyms, use athletics facilities at far lower rates than cisgender people. So I'd say let's deal with that. The other things I'd say let's deal with is, look, the day-to-day problems trans people face aren't about whether or not they can compete in the Olympics. We're talking about 1 in 8 trans people report being assaulted or abused at their place of work by a colleague or customer within the last 12 months. A quarter of all trans people will experience homelessness at some point in their lives. And I think that your audience at home...
Right.
So your audience at home are empathetic
so that's
people,
important
and you're an empathetic
That's
man.
important to know, and I hate to hear that, and I'm aware of that. So why choose the hill to go on? I want to have an unfair advantage over women in sport. Why not just say, we get it, that's unfair, and bring people with them as they move towards proper fairness and equality?
No community is a monolith, all right? No community is a monolith. And you're going to have some trans people who go, for me, the really important thing is I want to participate in sport. But that's going to be, by its definition, because it's elite sport, a really small number of people.
The problem, I want to move on, but the problem is it is getting more and more people. Julia, let's talk about COVID and Novak Djokovic, because you and I have been going at it on Twitter, right? So I don't think he should be allowed anywhere near the US Open, because America, if I want to go to America, which I will be quite soon, I have to take a test and show my vaccination status. That's it.
So does he.
Yeah. So he shouldn't be allowed to play, right?
Well, he has to abide by the rules, same rules everyone else has to do. Although, interestingly, in 2020, everyone seemed quite happy for sportsmen and women to have completely different rules than the rest of us, being able to travel, things like the Australian Open, when other people couldn't even get home to see their families. Yeah, he's not asking for special treatment, though. He simply said, I'm not vaccinated, I'm not showing my vaccine status, and therefore I can't play in the US Open. The whole point is it's a stupid rule. Your vaccine protects you. Anyone who's taken a vaccine, it protects them. We know with Omicron, it doesn't actually provide much protection at all from infection. It does protect you from getting seriously ill or dying.
Well, the key point is it stops you from dying. I mean, that's the whole point of the vaccines.
Piers, a young, healthy man, what is he, in his 30s? His chances of dying
You're a young, healthy woman. You've been jabbed, right?
I have chosen to disclose my jab status when I chose to disclose
You sound like one of those people talking about transport and women.
That's my business. But whether one chooses to actually show that at a board, or you can choose. This is the thing. You should be able to make a choice. Bodily autonomy is the most fundamental human right. Novak Djokovic isn't asking for special treatment. I think it's incredible he's standing by his principles. He's a young, healthy man, peak of physical fitness.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't.
But he's also a role model who will have definitely deterred a lot of people who perhaps should have the jab
a role model
from having
for sports people standing up for their principles.
They're huge role models.
What, like the England footballers who take a knee for Black Lives Matter, but they'd happily go and compete in the World Cup in Qatar, where we have outrageous treatment of gay people.
I've no problem with them taking the knee. I think it's good when they take the knee. In fact, funny enough, when the players take the knee at Arsenal, when I go, the entire crowd of 60,000 people, white, black, and any time they all cheer.
But it's
I don't hear a single dissenting voice.
But it's hypocrisy, because you can't
Final point.
do that and then go and play in Qatar.
Ash, this pack of Lurpak has nearly doubled in price in the last few months.
Is that the £9?
Was £3.35, now £4.89, I'm told. So 50% or more rise, right? This is indicative of what's going on with prices everywhere. We're choosing a new Prime Minister. We can talk about all the culture war stuff, and I think a lot of it is relevant and important. But actually, for most of our viewers around the world, cost of living, cost of butter and margarine,
and when you look at the costs of heating on top of the increase of the price of fuel, the price of food, the price of rent, everything getting more expensive, you know it's not going up people's pay packets. And in that kind of context, what political party is standing up for those people? There's no major political party in this country saying absolutely everyone deserves matching inflation pay rise. So effectively, people are being told you're going to be made poorer, deal with it. And I think there's only so long a society can hold itself together under those kinds of conditions.
Julia, Rishi Sunak favourite at the moment, Penny Mordaunt making a march. The problem is, in a poll that came out today, apparently at least 2 people who were asked in the poll thought she was Adele. Let's take a look. We haven't got it. I'm sorry.
They do have fabulous
they do look quite
hair.
similar. But the point being, she doesn't have much recognition. We've got a few seconds
quite
there.
similar
There we
to
are.
who?
Do you think she can beat Rishi?
I think she can. I think it's all to play for. Anyone making predictions right now is probably a fool. I think their second preferences is going to be where it all goes, and that could all change in the next
And Ash
week.
Forrest said he went today with his head held high. Last thought from you.
I mean,
Make it quick.
this is a man with a almost pathological lack of self-awareness, so I'm not
Should
surprised.
have gone with his head held in shame. That's it. Thank you to my panel. Actually, quite civilised. Come back. I liked it. That's it from me. Whatever you're up to, keep it uncensored.